Falguni and Ankita for joining us on Coffee and Childhood. Our next episode in today's very important and very close to me is parenting twins. As I mentioned over the call also that we are all blessed with kids, and it's just a wonderful joy we are all on, and each day is a on its own. For all the people who've tuned in, are watching us live on Facebook, welcome to Kids Okay Please Coffee and Childhood. We're expecting third panel also to come in as we but start our existing panel. Let me quickly introduce. Sure, Falguni.
Can you hear me? To check the audio.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thanks.
Audio is absolutely fine. Let me quickly our panelists as we go ahead with the show. Our first panelist is and I didn't get the last name. Naha. Falguni. She works with IIT Bombay and energetic mom of three, a 3-year-old, where she was a former journalist who lived PR now with the IIT Bombay. Her twins and Mihir are 2-year-old now, and they pet dog. His name is Notty. TTY. And the trio ensure that she remains on her. Welcome, Falguni.
Hi.
I can't. I'm excited. I'm to hear about how the dynamics are with the twins, and many parents ask us about the same. So I'll move quickly introducing our second panelist. Wait.
I guess your video got stuck.
Sorry, my bad. I think there was some. I don't know what did my internet go off. Yeah, just checking with the team on that. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, you are.
Sorry, Ankita. I'm going to.
Hi,
Glad to have
hi.
you. I just introduced a show, and I
Okay.
was talking to Ankita. I think I almost completed her introduction, but I'll just take the audience again. Her introduction that she's a physiotherapist by profession. She's a mother of daughters, and currently she's a stay-at-home mom, and she's joined us from. Come on the show, Ankita. It's an absolute pleasure to have you here with. And I can't wait to hear the other side. Twin girls. It must be such a delight. I can't tell you the two twin boys, and the dynamics. I mean, just let me move on to our third panelist, Namrata Sadhvani. She's an award-winning social media influencer, editor, workshop facilitator out of Hyderabad. She's a mom to 12 boys. She's a Jill of all trades. It'd be Jack of all, perfect. And that's what she currently she works with as the Hyderabad editor for which is India's largest parenting platform. She here and works very closely with Safety, SI.com, a women's rights organization for whom she safe and unsafe touch workshops for kids of ages between 3 to 12. I've had a chat with her, and we're doing a little bit more of collaboration with Safety and to bring that to our platform. She's won a lot of accolades in the online world for her articles on causes she's passionate about, around taboo subjects like normalizing difficult conversations around raising a generation without gender bias, menstruation, etc. She's a mom to a 7-year-old, which I already mentioned, to raise feminist boys while making her hair exasperation. Well,
I have very
need to be applauded. A child or twins or more than two, effort that they put in to raise their children. And it's such a beautiful journey. I can tell you that 3 years back when we had our twin boys, we were elated this joyride, and every single day has been just fantastic. So start with how we typically go about the show. All the people who've tuned in, welcome again to Coffee and Childhood. You can watch this live this on our YouTube page as well. There are comments which are coming in. We'll take questions as well towards. Let me start with Ankita. Something about your parenting journey thus. What is different? What has changed from the time you to now being a parent, and something about yourself, and then I'm going to this also a quick introduction for the people who are going to listen to it now, and I'm going to watch it later. Yeah.
Sure, I guess time has really changed, and the time we are a parent is the me time now when we are. I guess especially in this lockdown, like our mom was saying, all the course and looking after you, and I guess we are doing the same. Situation, I guess all will agree on this. Definitely time, and being a parent, you means a hell lot of responsibility on us. Of kids, in the term of their fitness, in terms of their eating habits, like I feel that hats off to our parents. They have managed us without any technology. Now, whenever what my kids are doing, they are in the front of TV because I have come here. So this is the thing, I guess, thanks to technology nowadays, we are doing so well. I guess each and every mom is like, there are so many things, online classes. We all as a parent are giving no screen time to kids. Have to give them, there's no choice left, and in fact they're happy with the school providing this kind of information to kids. So so much, and being a
Mythical. And why?
Sorry, Ankita. Guests on mute, please, and it's a request to everyone to stay muted. Thank you. Yes, Ankita, please go.
Yeah. So working before them, but I had a super tough pregnancy, so the circumstances not so very well that I have to join back again. I'm waiting for the right time. It's like one more year, and sometimes I feel we get to it that we are so used to our surrounding now. I feel it's been 5 years now. I'm not working, and now when I think of work, it's earlier not in my mind, but now I have to definitely. So many other things regarding to me, not only the kids. So to strike the code again, hopefully next year. About me.
Awesome. Good luck with that, and happy to hear. I'll move on to Namrata. Namrata, you have twin boys. 7-year-old. Again, what I want to know is that now you are getting to know each other. The parents are figuring out things, and you've moved on from that. You have a very successful career in the digital space, and you've been doing a lot of work. Take us through, or just tell our audience what's been the journey thus far, and what's been the experience thus far parenting twins, and a little bit about Namrata as a person. Yeah.
So actually, it's a very loaded question because, and I can actually go on and on and on about this. And everybody tells me I have verbal diarrhea. So, when I start talking, I just cannot stop. But it's incredible for me to know as a person that after I've become a mother, I've realized how powerful women actually are. We sort of underestimate it, before we become parents, we sort of underestimate the power that women have. But after you become a mother, you realize how powerful you actually are, not just because your body has given birth to human life, but also because you have the power to change them. You have the power to, mold them into the kind of human beings that the world really needs. So I think it's incredible that, after becoming a mother, I have realized that a woman holds so much power. Another thing I have realized after becoming a mother is the incredible amount of patience that is inherently there in every woman. We may not realize it before we have kids, and we may be the most impatient beings in the world before we have kids. But after we have kids, I think it sort of naturally comes to us that, because we've given birth to them, we are with them for their entire lives. So we have no choice but to be patient. I think that's an incredible side effect of having kids. Another thing that I have realized is that as a parent, I am never black or white. I am always gray. Like, I always say that, somebody who says, like what Ankita said, that, screen time is bad for kids, but it's not black or white. It's always screen time, if given in measured amounts after a particular age, is definitely good for kids, and it will help us raise kids in the 21st century. We cannot go back and say that, we are raising kids in the 12th century, so we don't want to give them screens at all. That's not possible. We have to raise a generation of kids who are looking ahead, who are prepared for the future. So it is no use keeping them away from technology. Teaching them the right way to use that technology, that is our responsibility, and we must do that with everything that we do in our life. And what I've realized over these 7 years of being a parent is that motherhood is very, very hard. Not just motherhood, parenthood is very, very hard. And I think more credit should be given to parents everywhere. And sort of this deification, especially of mothers, that, mothers are treated like, inherent goddesses who should know everything about their children as soon as a baby is placed into their arm. That doesn't happen. It's a journey of self-discovery. It's a journey. It's a learning experience every day, every year that your kids grow up and grow stronger, grow healthier. You realize that there is still so much to learn. There is still so much to do. So sort of, this pedestal that mothers are placed on, that's incredible. But don't expect mothers to become mothers just because they've, have a human life in their hands. They need to know as much as everybody else. So empower them and educate them before you place a life in their hands, or before the mother gives birth to a child or adopts a child or whatever. She has to be equipped with the right knowledge. And I think that's very, very important. That's sort of missing in India, especially. And I think it's a cultural thing that, we expect a mother to know everything. Motherhood instinct is something which is very powerful, but beyond that, the knowledge has to be imparted to mothers. So I think that's what my journey has been like. That's essentially why I got into writing, because I wanted to experience and I wanted to write about my experiences as a mother. So I think that's what motherhood has been like for me.
Well, thank you for sharing your thoughts. Moving on, I'm going to come back to certain questions which I have for you specifically. Moving on to Falguni. Falguni, same question to you. Tell our audiences, who is Falguni? What's been your journey like? I know you have very, very young children, and this is you're in a government job at IIT Bombay. So just take us through that.
Hi everyone. Um, well, my journey has not been any different from any other mom. And what I would say is that whether you have one child or you have two or three or whatever be the number of children you have, the journey, the experience is almost the same for all. The challenges are same. Uh, you said it's double the joy, but it's also double the effort. And like just like Namrata said, uh, it's a learning experience throughout. But what I would like to add is that not only do we learn from others, but we also learn from our own kids. As parents, we also have to be good listeners. And I'm learning a lot from my kids for sure.
Awesome, awesome. Thanks, Falguni. My brief interaction with everyone has been fabulous. It's obviously great to connect with parents who are parenting twins. I know on the panel I'm in a certain way besides moderating. Um, I believe that's Notty.
Yeah.
Well, Namrata, I did introduce Falguni that she has twins, a boy and a girl, and there's also a pet in their house. So I can't imagine what's the dynamics like having twins and a pet in the house at the same time, because managing one child is anyways different, but having three kids to yourself, literally, it's going to be a tough task.
You're very brave.
You're very So for all the people who are watching us on Facebook, and I can tell you that the counter is simply increasing, and we're going to tune in later. We're on
Later.
parenting twins, and you all can post questions for us to share with our panelists later. Let me quickly move on to something very important, and I'd like to understand, because the great thing is that I have a parent who has two daughters, parent who has two boys, and I have a parent who has a boy and girl as my panelists. This is something that has happened over all my panel discussions prior to this. Um, how is one
Tell him to come later.
explain uh, gender neutrality, or handle that when they're raising their, because the dynamics are different, depending on what you Falguni, I believe that there is some background noise. So my request would be, if we can mute it, and when I'm asking you a question, yeah, thank you so much. I know one of the things about being at home and not in our personal conference rooms and attending these sessions. These are the kind of challenges that we face. Thank you again. So my question to all the panelists is about gender neutrality. How are you going to address that, or how are you currently addressing it now and in future when you're raising your children? And how does one what are the fears that come to your mind, that what if this question comes up, and have you already experienced something of that sort, and how did you handle it? So express yourself. We want to hear that. I think we'll start with Namrata this time, and then we'll move on to the other panelists. Yes, Namrata.
So a large part of the work that I do for safety is also because safety is an organization that believes in empowering women against gender-based violence. But on a more large, we are fighting for feminism to for boys and girls or women and men, but it means equal rights for all sexes. And that has to start from home. There is no way that it can start from anywhere else but from home. The sooner we realize it, the better it is, and the sooner we can impart the same training to our children as well. As a twofold respect,
Sorry, Namrata, we missed some part of the thing. I think there's the internet is slightly weak at that end. We'll just wait for our internet to stable. I guess we've lost Namrata in the conversation. Let her internet stabilize and come back. I'll pose this question to Ankita. Ankita, I think we can, or probably she's back. I think.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
Namrata. So we
probably
lost
need
you in
to
the
pause.
middle. Yes.
Okay, so like I was saying, with regards to gender neutrality, there's two challenges that I face as a parent. One is and everybody around me telling me that, oh, you have two boys, what do you have to worry about? Oh, what do you know the challenges of raising a girl? And you don't have to talk about things like say puberty or keeping your private parts safe, and you don't have to have those kind of conversations with boys. And that's where I step in and I tell people that except for physically, there is no difference between a boy and a girl. So everything that you teach your girls, I have to teach the same things to my boys. And this is the basic premise from which we start gender neutrality as parents. Whatever you teach girls, you teach the boys the same thing. There is absolutely no difference. It has been proved repeatedly through various surveys and research done across the world that sexual abuse of boys is more common as opposed to sexual abuse of girls when they are much younger. So why wouldn't I tell my boys about safe and unsafe touch? It has been proved
Absolutely.
multiple times. You need to have the same conversations around puberty. Need to have the same conversations around menstruation with girls and boys. So why would it be any different in my house? Just because I have two boys. So that's the challenge that I face as a parent, that I have to constantly justify it to everybody why I have these conversations in my house. Second, I face a challenge in my own home because I'm in a joint family, and we have two other boys in the house. We have four boys of different ages in the house, and the stereotypes they hear around us every day are absolutely mind boggling. Like I literally, like I said, I pull out my hair. It's literally me pulling out my hair every time, when even like the very famous school, the boys happen to go there for not my own kids school, but they happen to go there for an event, and they heard the teachers telling the class that it's okay for for girls to hit boys, but boys cannot hit girls. Where is this coming from? Why are we still propagating these stereotypes? In my own school, the classmates, my boys carried pink bags to school, and they were teased by their classmates that these are girls bags, and why are you carrying girls bags? So this is a challenge I face every day in my house, that I have to keep telling them that there is no color that is meant for only gender, that is meant for a particular gender. There is
Yeah.
beyond physical differences, there is nothing different between boys and girls. So you better believe that, and you better grow up that way. So that's the challenge that I face everywhere. I feel it's very simple. You have to understand that we are fighting for an equal world, but unless and until that starts from our own home, that starts from our own conversations with our children, it's not going to happen. We have the power to make that happen.
Fantastic. I think the thought is absolutely right. In fact, we face the same. I'm just going to move on to and I'll come back on this point again. What you mentioned that I too have two boys, and how are we going about it? But I'll move on to Ankita next. Ankita, you have two daughters. Over the call also we did touch upon this topic very briefly. But what are your thoughts around this, and how are you addressing the gender neutral parenting as a process?
It all depends when your kids start going to school. They learn so many things from their peer group, and they catch those things more than what we teach them. What I felt, there are so many incidences when my kids say ki nahi mama, boys kar sakte hain. I told them, who told you? Mama, usne bola tha. So we can't
Yeah.
be with kids together all the time. We can't be there, but it's very important for our age group. I guess I will go a little off topic if I will say that yes, I am a mom of twin girls. And you know what was the first thought when all relatives and aunties come and visit and say us, कोई बात नहीं बेटा, लक्ष्मी आई है. So मतलब why कोई बात नहीं? Are you giving sympathy to me that I have born blessed two baby girls or what? This is a scenario not in the older
Yeah.
people. This is the scenario of our age group. You know,
I
people
agree.
are posting on social media, calling them influencers and posting so many things. But I wish if they would have done it literally in the offline now, so things would have been a different level today. So there is a lot of difference in parenting. I know with a girl and boy, no doubt there's a physical, the gap in that. But yes, the with the girls, the we have a different mindset. We as a parent can give a different upbringing to kids, but when you then they go to the peer group, when they go to school, same as Namrata mentioned, the incident with the teacher. So this is, she's almost of our age group now, then she's teaching this thing to kids. So I think things have to change from our age group. We as a parent can bring a change now it's the high time, like we as a parent can bring the change in parenting. So
Yeah.
not the older generation, they are still the same. They will still tell me to give a birth to a plan again or do something. Give a why should I? We, I belong to a businessman family, and in the business class we sometime as a parent think ki who will look after our business. We are a mom, we are a blessed with girls, but you know
Yeah.
this is just a part of our conversation. We have never given a thought on it that we are not having a boy or a girl. But when my friends of mine, they are my age, tell me the same thing. So I feel ki there is something need to be changed now, you know
Absolutely.
so
Yeah. Yeah. I completely comprehend with that thought process because, I, you know, it's the design, the mental design, how we are designed to think, how we bucket everyone into boys can do this, girls can do that, and we don't let children be children, and we are feeding things into the child's mind. Children are not learning it from anywhere else. They are learning it from us. So we've taught them buckets of all these things. This is how you
biggest toy companies
compartmentalize it.
have differentiated the toys. So many big
Absolutely.
brands have differentiated the toy. These are a boy section, this is a girl section, and the cars are only meant for boys, and Barbies are only meant for girls.
Yeah.
So they have themselves
Absolutely.
created a big differentiation that we can't pull our kids from that section. So this
True.
has to be
True.
changed from that level, then it will come to the lower level.
It's a gradual process, and I think everyone is working to. Let me get the third opinion, which is Falguni having a boy and a girl. And I want to hear, Falguni, what have you already seen around you, and what are your thoughts around gender neutral parenting? How are you going to be looking at continuing with it? I know your children are just 2 right now, and I'm sure you're already amidst a lot of things which have changed for you. But the larger responsibility now is on the parents than more than anywhere else. So a different take altogether. But what are your thoughts around gender neutral parenting?
I'm too new to this topic because my kids are 2-year olds, but I come across several compliments from my friends and relatives who say, "Oh wow, you're so lucky. You have a son and a daughter, so it's all sort of taken care of, and
Oh,
you're a complete family." And I always tell them, look, I would not have been a less loving mother if I had 2 daughters too. In fact,
yeah,
I and my husband, we always wanted 2 daughters. So it really doesn't make any difference whether you have a son or a daughter. As long as a parent, uh, you are the role model. You set
yeah,
the right aims. Yes.
right. Thanks, Falguni, for very briefly addressing that part. And I completely understand that you have very young children, and the challenges, probably not challenges. I think these start coming your way once they grow older, once they are interacting with more with the outside world, when your children start going to the play group and things like that. Also, I was saying that gender neutral parenting is something that people should read up about and put it into their normal course of things
Yeah.
which is there. I wanna introduce 2 points out here, 2 words that came across. One is co-viewing, something which all of y'all spoke about, that about the screen time. I feel at a younger age, less than 5, or whenever the screen time is increased, co-viewing is something that parents should really participate with their children, and let them see the screen. It's a part of our lives now, and we
Yeah.
cannot avoid, but co-viewing has to be done of what's going on, introduce them to different things. And the other is unschooling. This is a beautiful thought that someone brought to us, that as parents, we've been taught how to do things by our parents. So everything that we're doing now with our children is ऐसे करो, ये ऐसे होता है, ये ऐसे होना चाहिए. I think all of us, and there are beautiful videos available online which talks about unschooling. So we need to unschool our mind and look at our children from their need perspective and not from what we need out of them. We really cannot have that kind of authority on children. So those are the two terms for all the people who've come in. Please read about that and things like that. I wanted to put that across. I want to move to Falguni. Falguni, I spoke about this earlier that you have literally 3 kids in the house. The third one is your pet. What's the dynamic like when a pet is around 2 kids who are as young as that? Because most parents are scared. They feel that having a pet around in the same house is additional work, and it can also affect the children's health in some way, especially if it's a dog and a furry pet who's there. So your thoughts around that?
You won't believe it. We had our moments of anxiety, nervousness, all of that. So we brought home Notty 6 months after our wedding, and at that time we didn't really know if we would have kids at all, and twins was something that came as a surprise. And so Notty is now 5.5 years old, and he's our first baby. We pampered him like nothing. I mean, we did everything for Notty the way we would do for our first child. And uh, so he continues to remain our first baby. And we treat him no less as a family member. He gets what he wants. And since he's
So
used to
you're saying that
having...
it's not been a scenario where having a pet around your 2 kids was even a thought came to your mind that no, we
No,
can't have.
never,
You stuck
never.
by it and you're okay. Fantastic. I think
We were nervous as to how the kids and Naughty would gel along and get along together, whether we'll be able to manage and cope with the whole pressure. But touch wood, I have been lucky that Naughty's been a wonderful elder brother, and he's very caring and protective about the kids. And I mean, I can even leave my kids with Naughty alone in a room. I have nothing to fear. And a lot of effort, training went into it. Of course, it didn't happen overnight. And each of the 3 kids demands their attention, time, and they want their love, affection, all of that. But touchwood, I've been lucky that they 3 get along very well, and they are inseparable. So things went off fine.
amazing. I think that's a fantastic thought. It's a very positive thought because most. Hi, Ankita, glad to have you back. I believe that. No worries.
In fact, I would like to add here that having a pet at home is a very good thing, because kids at a very young age learn to be sympathetic, learn to be caring about nature, about animals, and they're not scared. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
I've seen other parents say, "Arey, kutte ko haath mat lagao," and all that. But I have never discouraged my kids from petting any animal, even stray animals for that.
Right. Awesome. I that that's a very big statement out there for all the people who are considering having a pet in their house. Of course, every family will decide on their own. But here we have an example of someone who's living with it and has ensured that it becomes part of their ecosystem, how their children are going to be raised. I want to ask all 3 of you, and I'm going to start with Namrata on this one. Who is or who has been your biggest support system, or the biggest supporter of you as a parent while parenting twins? The natural one is your spouse. One would talk about it, but you can elaborate on what's the ecosystem like, what's the support system like you have, and why is it important to have a very important support system, especially when raising twins, because the challenges are multifold. So what's your support system like?
So I think one big difference when it comes to raising twins and raising a single child is that the father has no option but to be hands on. Matlab, like if you're raising a single child, then probably the mother and the father can say ki main thak gayi hu, tum bachcha pakad lo, or the father says that okay, now I'm done, can you please take the child back. With twins, that's not an option. Both have to be equally hands on, especially when kids are very young and they're staying up at nights and you need all that support. So that's, I think, one fundamental difference between raising twins and raising singletons. So aside from the regular people whom you say that your spouse, and say my parents stay like 5 minutes away from my place, so they were like a huge support system. I am incredibly blessed to stay in a joint family, so I had literally so many people around me taking care of me that even the sleeplessness that was there in the first year of my twins' lives didn't feel like a lot, because every other duty was taken away from me. All I had to do was look after my kids, and that was it.
Wow.
So I think I've
Wow.
been incredibly blessed in that way. But the one person whom I respect and who was my biggest support system at that point was actually my kid's pediatrician. He was an incredible doctor who he was in the OT when my kids were born. But beyond that,
Yeah.
every other decision that I took for my children was never without his approval, was never without his support. And he was the one, when the world around me told me that you cannot breastfeed or you cannot exclusively breastfeed your twins, he was the one who said that, why can you not make it happen? You have to make it happen. There is no two ways about it, and you can do it. You will be able to do it. For every
Yeah.
decision that is made very popularly by everybody else around, he told me that you have to be a little bit more traditional. You have to believe in the power of breastfeeding. Don't sleep for a year, it's okay, but you feed your babies, because that's an incredible gift that you will give them. Whether it was a
Yes.
vaccination, whether it was a sleeping schedules, whether it was it was very, very simple. Whether it was even something as simple as because you have twins, you can call me and I'll set up an exact time for you, so that you don't have to wait too much in the waiting room,
Yeah.
because you have two kids and that's double the responsibility. So I think without his support, my life in the first year of my kids' life would have been very difficult. So I really want to acknowledge his presence, and I think a good doctor makes so much of a difference.
So much of a difference. Absolutely. Well, thank
Yeah.
you for that. Ankita, moving on to you, your biggest support system, who do you turn to, or who's been the biggest pillar of strength for you?
Hands down, my husband. I don't know whether he's listening or not. There are kind of times like we used to collect all the things of our day and leave it on him. Yaar, this and that. But whenever I look at my old pictures and see there were a picture in which I'm feeding one kid and he's in one hand. He there are so many pictures I can relate that I'm feeding one kid, is having bottle in one hand. So we have passed that time. Now we can recall all these memories of the time. It's not about the things that he has helped me. There are so many times when they both are sleeping and he came late from the work, and without making any noise, without doing anything, he's like, he know that she also needs a sleep. There were times when he has slept without food, because I was sleeping. I slept while feeding the kids. So I just woke up in the middle of the night and tend to realize that, oh God, he's also sleeping without food. So that's kind of support he has always given me without any complaints. Not at that time he has let me. There were so many weddings at the time. He know that I'm a freaking dancer, so he was like, I will take care of both kids and you go and enjoy the moment. So hands down for my husband for this, today and always for this. I know it's not about motherhood, it's about parenthood, I guess, which we have to always
Yeah.
mention. We always mention about parenting twins for a mother, but the fathers play I guess, equally important role in upbringing of a basically a twin. They have to be there. They can't believe like he can dance and I have to look. It's not there. He has to hold one. There's no other option left. So
Well said. Yeah, well said. Thanks, Ankita. And I'm sure that whenever your husband sees this, he's going to be very, very, very happy. uh, uh, who's the biggest support system? Who's the pillar of strength for you in raising twins?
Pardon?
So I'm asking you the same question that who has been the the biggest source of support for you as a parent to twins?
As a parent twins, as such, my husband only supported, and the initially my mother was there. Yeah. So,
Sorry, Ankita, I was posing that to Falguni. I think
okay,
I
okay.
was posing that to Falguni. Yeah, Falguni. Falguni, you're muted.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I can.
So I'm very lucky
You as
in
well.
many ways. I stay in Powai and my parents stay in Navi Mumbai. My parents-in-law stay in Thane. So we are all in the same city. And I almost visit my parents and parents-in-law every weekend. And they come and stay with us over weekend. So I am very lucky that I have had great parental support. We also have a 24 by 7 nanny, and again I'm lucky on that front because she's my lifeline. And of course, I and my husband, we take turns to stay awake at night and do the things, right from changing diapers to bottles and everything, playing with them, storytelling, nursery rhymes. um, so it's not a one-man job for sure. It has to be a team effort.
Well said, Falguni. I think we are all in common consensus that it takes a lot of people to ensure that a child is raised well, and when it comes to twins, it's even more. I want to turn towards the next point very quickly. Is there a distinct is there a major difference? And I know that there is a common cliche when people see twins, like, oh wow, twins, that means they would be doing the same thing they show in movies, which is so funny. Or is there something unusual about them? Is there something special? Are they not, exactly normal or in sync and otherwise? What's the scenario? So these common cliche things are thrown at us as parents to twins, and we simply laugh in our heads that no, I mean it's as good as having two children. And the beauty of it is both of them are growing up together. Both of them have very distinct personalities, and both of them are friends for life. There's nothing better than having a sibling, and sibling of your same age is just going to be phenomenal. And you know that you raise two kids at the same time rather than having two kids at different point of time going through the same ordeal which was there. So it's like investing into a particular equity investment or something, where the CAGR is going to be much more when they grow up, because the efforts are constant, and it's the same number of hours that you can put in behind them. So I want to ask, and I'll start with Namrata again. Namrata, how did you address things like sibling rivalry or different interest in your children, and when you saw that happening, because there's 1 hour that you can put out, say just before lunch, you want them to calm down, you want them to sit down, and how do you get them to do an activity which one may like, one may not like? And one part is a curriculum, but general sibling rivalry or activities, or how do you keep them engaged? Because both of them would have different interests. What could you share your experience around?
So one thing that I want to tell the audience who's listening and probably who'll see this later on is that not all twins look the same. There are identical twins and there are fraternal twins. So fraternal twins do not look the same. Because I used to have people coming and visiting my kids, very, very initially, and they used to say, "Arey, ye to same lagte hai." But I'm like, no, ye log same nahi lagte because ye same nahi hai. I have fraternal twins, so they don't look the same. I'm sure, everybody would have heard it. Even in like the case where there's a girl and a boy, I'm sure you must have heard it a lot of time. कि अरे ये तो same दिखते हैं. अरे same कैसे दिखेंगे? लड़का और लड़की है, of course अलग दिखेंगे. So this Bollywood cliche comes ना कि एक पलटी मारता है तो दूसरा भी पलटी मारेगा और एक रोता है तो दूसरा भी रोएगा. everybody, these are just cliches. Our children are distinct individuals. Even though in the case of identical twins, they may look the same, but then their personalities, most often than not, their personalities are completely different from each
different.
other. And for us as twin parents, it is like you rightly said, it is like raising two kids. It's not that, it's not a one size fits both. When it comes to twins, just because they're born together doesn't mean that they'll have the same personalities and they'll have the same ideas or the same interests. So the one thing that I have always ensured when it came to this was, and I wanted them to uh, have their own distinct personalities and not be influenced by each other, is two things. First of all, we gave them very indistinct twin names. So my kids' names are Agastya and Advait. So if you see them, you wouldn't think that they're twins, and they're not like tied to each other in any way. So that is something that was a decision, collective decision from taken by my husband and I. We wanted distinct names because we don't want that twin tag to always sit with them for their entire life. So that's one thing. Second thing, they started school at 2 years, and from that time onwards, I have always ensured that they are in different sections in school. So even if they were in right from playgroup to nursery to LKG, now they're in second grade, they're in different sections. So through this, what has happened is that each of them makes, because school is the one place where you make your friends for life. So it has been fortuitous that I've been able to do that. They've made their own distinct friends. They don't have common friends. Of course, a few common friends, but they have their own friends. And because of their being in different sections, their class teachers have been able to give me continuous feedback that he likes this, or Agastya likes this, Advait is interested in this. Agastya likes to do, say, sports a lot, and Advait is more interested in doing drawing or coloring. So this is the common, this is feedback that I get from the teachers, and then I can work on that at home, because they're spending so much time in school and the teachers are very, very observant. So the teachers are able to tell us what our kids like, and sometimes we are not able to pick that up. So when they were little, obviously you read the same book to them, and you sort of get the same toys for them or get similar stuff for them, because they're still developing their personality. But now beyond the age of 5, they all develop their distinct identities. So they know, like my son Agastya, he loves reading about different personalities and different people. So I try and get him books like that. Whereas Advait, right now his current obsession is the atlas and the globe. So he wants different forms of the atlas. So I try to get them books which suit their need. So it's very, very, as a parent, you have to pick on these subjective differences between your children and ensure that they work on that, because they're different personalities. As a parent also, sometimes we tend to make that mistake that, अरे इसको अच्छा लग रहा है, तुमको क्यों नहीं अच्छा लग रहा है? इसको ये drawing करना पसंद है, तुमको क्यों नहीं पसंद है? So we should inherently try to stop ourselves also from doing that as twin parents. And I think it's worked out for me beautifully, because I think that school thing has really worked for me.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing that. A very interesting insight. Falguni, asking you the same question, that is there something that you've already started seeing, or are you addressing their interests in a certain way, or is it all play right now and you've not deep dived into it, in terms of what Namrata was also saying, that at such an early age things would be ideally common, and you try and comfort them in the way it is. So Falguni, you want to probably share that? You're on mute, Falguni. Sorry.
Yeah. So my children are partners in crime, and when they want to do something naughty and जब पिटाई होने वाली होती है, पता है, they become a team. And otherwise they have the typical boy and girl traits, where my daughter likes to play with her dolls and she likes to read, or she has started drawing on the walls, whereas it's wheels and cars and cycles for my boy. My boy, I am seeing, is a bit more clingy towards me, but otherwise it's too early to comment on this.
Too early to comment. Well, I'll tell you that how all the daughters take pride in their fathers. All the boys, they simply rely on their mothers. They cannot do that. Expect a lot more clinginess. Ankita, your thoughts on and how are you looking at their interest and creating things and an environment around them where their interests are taken care of and addressing them in the appropriate measure. Yeah.
Earlier when they go to play school, when they were in play school, so I put them in a one section. You know what the problem was? Whenever coming back to home, the first thing was, "Mama, ma'am ne ye kaha tha," and other was like, "Nahi, nahi, ye nahi kaha tha." So the fight continues from the car only, and it begins to until night. जब तक वो next day नहीं आता था, you know. So it was like this. So I thought कि यार, मतलब I tell to ma'am कि please take them differently. So you know when we go for a PTM or anything, it was like Kirat has done this, but Sirat has not done this. You know, so comparison starts from there only. So teacher has even given me comparison. She has done this. I was like, you should give me a different way of what my one kid is doing. It's not like that. She has done this, ma'am, and it's her record. But it's not like, it was always like, वो तो कर लेती है, उसने ये वाला चीज नहीं किया. So you know that thing got stuck to my mind. I just made my mind at that point that I'm going to put them in different sections when they will go to main school. So I put them in different sections. Obviously, it's difficult for parents because you know the two things were going on. Whenever there is I guess Namrata will also agree on this. Whenever there is some function in the school, you know, so it was like kahan attend karna hai, kiska attend karna hai. There was some class presentation, you know. So I was like, beta, I have to go on her class, and she was like, no. So I have to compensate for when I had gone to Kirat's class. So I had to compensate with Dadi and Papa for Kirat class. You know, in the compensation of Mama, I had sent 2 other people to her class so that she also feels motivated ki Mama nahi aayi, so I got 2 other things. So, you know, this is the thing, but yes, different section for sure. Even I now tell them ki should I put you in same section? So they said, no, Mama, I don't want to go to her section. And she was like, no, Mama, I don't want to go to her section. So they are happy with their different friends, and I am too happy that they are. Why you are treating them as a twins? Treat them as a different individuals. They are different individuals with different needs and obviously a different interest. You know, I sometimes feel ki I am as a parent giving the same upbringing to both, but they have a totally different kind of interest in everything. One is so inquisitive about art and craft. The fight start when she wants to see the craft video. I want to see the craft video. Other is, you know, a typical girly princess. I want to see a Rapunzel. I want to see a Frozen. So the fight starts there. Mama, अगर इसको craft देखना है, so I want to see a princess. So it's a turn wise, you know. अगर एक craft video चलेगी, तो next will be your video. So yes, for sure, interests are totally different. And you know, sometimes people come and ask us. I was in my friend circle. I was the first to get married and have kids. So you know, my friends message me, oh, यार, twins कैसे करते हैं? मतलब how do you have planned twins? I was deep in my head, yaar. Karna kya hai? It's same thing what you have to do for a single kid. It's nothing different. So we are always like, nahi, you have to do this right. Do this knees together. Yaar, if it's a cold, it's not the twins or other siblings. Cold will definitely, if my one sibling is having, so other will also have. We were also having in the kids, na, if one is not there, the other. So it's not the twin factor you see in the Bollywood जुड़वा movie and all कि अगर एक को sneeze आई है तो दूसरे को भी आ गई. So it's go side by side, but of course as a parent we have to clutch at the things always, what's right for our kids.
Yeah. No, I think one of the funniest things that I've heard all day. Thank you for that. But you know, I also want to share that how have we tried to do this is we ensure that and something as basic as they've just turned 3, my boys. So mornings I'm going to give them a bath because and in the evenings my wife is going to give them a bath, and we take turns to get them ready. And the reason is that when we are getting them ready, that's the time when you're talking to them and letting them slowly get acquainted with how their body is, and telling them this is the hand today and introducing them. And that started at the age of 1 with them. And we were talking to them constantly. Even before that, people talk about it. And when we were doing that, we just realized that, and when we are giving them toys also, it's one toy that both of them have to play with. Although typical gifts, everyone will send two of each because they know we have twins. So we keep one inside. They have to play with one. They need to learn how to play with each other and deal with each other as if they are in a class or anywhere else where there are other kids. So you need to play around with, you know, how you would be with any other child. You cannot take advantage of being an older sibling or a younger sibling and things like that. So those are a few things that we've tried to do, but nothing mechanical. We just let it be the way it is. And I think Falguni mentioned that we are learning about things on a regular basis. We're learning about them on a every single day. And I think me and my wife would sit down once a week just to run through what happened in this week, which was different, and do we need to do it differently this time? And we made that as a conscious thing that this has to happen. COVID has given us a fantastic opportunity to even see that, the time which I couldn't see, when I was probably in office, and she could not. So I was missing on all of that, and now that balance is coming to it. So yeah, that's
1 second. I just want to add, sorry, I didn't want to cut you off, but I just want to add one point here, as that as parents also, we often fall into this trap of comparing our own kids. And I know it because I've done it for my children, and later on realize that, why am I doing this? And I shouldn't be doing this. That, इसने walk कर लिया, but इसने अभी तक walk नहीं किया है. And, इसने crawl कर लिया, but इसने अभी तक crawl नहीं किया है. इसको 4 दांत आए हैं, इसको 2 दांत आए हैं. But so I think that we fall into the comparison very, very fast.
We live in this scenario now. We live in this scenario where everyone around us doing this. So
but I think it's more common. I think it's more common with us twin parents, but this comparison happens with other siblings also. Like even if you have a child who is children 2 years apart, you would obviously compare and say, अरे but उसने तो 8 महीने में crawl करना शुरू कर दिया था, ये तो अब 10 महीने का हो गया, अभी तक इसने crawl नहीं किया. So I think as
parents, is there something wrong with the child is the question asked.
Yeah. So whether it's twins or whether it's, siblings, maybe a year or 2 or maybe 4 years, 5 years apart, as parents, we have to make the conscious choice to never compare our children, because that's just the wrong sort of, precedent we are setting for them in life later on. Like they don't want to be compared all the time.
Oh, absolutely. And sorry, you're on mute, Namrata. You went on mute.
I said, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, not at all. I mean, as I said, that it's more of a space where we want you all to express yourself. I'm telling you, as parents, no one talks to us as parents. Everyone thinks parenting, it's happening. It doesn't matter. But there's just so much to it, right? On a regular basis for all of us. I know that all of you all come with your own professional, expertise, and there is a career ahead of all of us, where we're gonna, once the children slightly grow up, you all are all gonna focus. All of us are gonna focus on enriching our careers as we move ahead. But parenting is gonna continue. I have a question. Someone has just mentioned. My daughter still say a few words, and society is saying me. She is late. Okay, so it's the same point that someone is putting out here, that his or her daughter has started saying few words, and the world has started saying that अरे अभी तक बोलना शुरू नहीं किया, and you should show it to a doctor. We just, as I started right at the beginning, I said we just bucket them, we compare them with other things. Each child is different. You cannot compare them. And just recommendation to anyone and everyone: don't go by what the world is saying. It's your baby, your child, and your child is dependent on you. If you are going to start comparing them, the world is obviously going to compare them. You need to create an environment where they feel they are safe and they are open, that they can come and talk to you. If you're not going to create that environment, you're not going to listen to them, you're going to force yourself onto them that ऐसे करो, अभी करो, ऐसे खाओ, ऐसे पियो, ऐसे रहो. It's going to be a painful space for them. So we don't want to do that, right? I'm sure that everyone agrees with that. I want to close the panel discussion, and I'm not going to move. If there's a Q&A, I would have loved to take a lot more questions. I know there are a lot of questions that have come on Facebook also, but we've passed the 60-minute period. We have 3 guests. They've all expressed themselves on various points that are there, and I'm sure that there's so much more that they can talk on this topic on. Thank you, Namrata. Thank you, Ankita. Thank you, Falguni, for taking time out and being a part of this very basic panel discussion where we wanted to hear from parents who are parenting twins.